Hello everybody, welcome to your Chiron ADC guide. Bringing our boy over to the duo lane, we're going to be grabbing ourselves the leather cow, but instead of going into Devo gloves on Chiron, we are going to start going into that transcendent. I'm going to grab 2 health potions and 2 multi-pots. So for Chiron, instead of embracing the full lifestyle, we are instead going to be taking ourselves into a transcendent for the big power on all of our abilities. And this generally means that we are going to be finishing our boots first and not going directly into that transcendence. Unlike a Devo gloves, which you would build straight into in order to get those stacks going ASAP, but those transcendent stacks aren't quite as important. Part of the reason why we can do this on Chiron is that his passive is actually a heal. So Chiron's passive, I think, is severely underrated, but it is a heal every time you're using an ability. So you see those little leaves, you're going to get a little bit of sustain out to yourself or to a low HP ally, but either way you're putting a little sustain out there into the world, and the leather cow HP should be enough for you on top of that. So you actually do have a good bit of sustain. I already got level 2, so I'm actually just going to start dashing in and play aggressive right on top of these guys. Doesn't bother me at all. Fenrir has used his jump, and I'm just going to be able to auto attack right away, and we force the shell, and I will take that trade for now. The second you get level 2 on duo lane, you've got to be ready to hit the gas pedal, especially on somebody that can play aggressive. Chiron's kickback can be really strong to bring people out of position, so don't be afraid to use it. It is also standardly going to be that ability you get second. You almost always want to get your getaway skills second in pretty much every lane of the game, but particularly in the duo. At level 3, we do have the option of ranking up our 1 again or getting our 2. If I feel like it's going to start to be more of a passive lane, I'll just get the 1 ranked up for the lane clear. Otherwise, I'll get the 2 for the damage. Now, right now, I'm playing a little bit back. Fenrir looks like he wants to jump in, so I'm trying to save my 1, actually, for a cleanse, unfortunately. I'm going to get stunned before the cleanse will go off. Right there, I have to play aggressive. I see that Tubby is playing up on me right now, so I'm actually going to get the 2. I'm going to pop a couple of health potions, try to walk towards him, and now play a little bit more behind my minion. So I was trying to save my 1 right there for the cleanse effect for the Sobek. Unfortunately, the Fenrir hit me and the Sobek, stunning both of us. Don't forget that Chiron's 1 does have that cleansing capability. You can use it like a Geb shield. So it doesn't just have to be a damage ability. You can use it for a little bit of that cleansing action. Had to make sure that I chased down the Fenrir after the Sobek got killed. I needed to make sure that we made it a 1-for-1 trade. So even though it was a little bit risky to go in there, even if I would have died, it still would have been the right play just in order to make it a 1-for-1. The first ability we're going to level up to max on Chiron is our 1. This is our main form of lane clear. And of course, we mentioned earlier, it does have that little crowd control immunity. You see right when it comes out, you'll get that little glowing yellow. It's just the tiniest, ittiest, bittiest little bit of time. It's like 0.3 seconds. But that is a crucial way to be using Chiron 1, particularly when there's not any kill potential and you're just trying to like run away. We'll be getting our ultimate whenever we can as well. Then our 2, and finally our 3. So our level order on Chiron is going to be 4, 1, 2, 3. Leveling up the ultimate, going to give us a lot of damage. This is damage per shot, and you get multiple shots on Chiron. You get those 3, so you have to times that damage by 3. Ranking up our 2 increases the damage and the slow, and then finally our 3 will rank up the damage that the kick does in the bonus power. A lot of people forget that you actually do have bonus power while you are channeling that charge, and that you can auto attack while you are charging on Chiron. It's the unique thing about his dash. is that you can auto attack while you're in it, and those auto attacks do have bonus power on them. So make sure you are auto attacking while you are dashing before you try to kick back the opponent out of position. Your standard combination on Chiron is just going to be a little 1-2 combo. You hit him with your 1. When your 1 is out, you auto attack. Like this. Then that hits him with the 1. Now you can follow up with the 2. I've got to be careful of this Fenrir because he jumps right in on me. Now I can try to bait this a little bit. I got to be careful of the Fenrir stunning me and then ulting me. So the second that he tries to jump in, I need to make sure that I use my ultimate or my cleanse. I'm gonna bait my dash just a little bit right there. There he goes for the ulti. So I ulti for the counter CC immunity. Gonna try to throw down my 1 on top of this Danza and just land my auto attacks right now. I do not have any mana. We gotta be very careful because we're probably getting rotated on. We are getting rotated on by the Hebo. So I'm gonna call for the retreat and see if we can't get ourselves out of here. Now there's a massive wave, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm backing. I'm actually gonna ward over on my purple just to see, but I actually can't leave this wave behind. You can't afford to give up really any farm this season, so stick around if you can. The hashtag one more wave meme is actually pretty legit this season.
Enemy missing middle.
Gotta buy another ward to make sure I can get it out. Of course, always using your movement ability from the base to try to get back to the lane faster.
Your left tower is under attack.
Now, Chiron's early game is not the strongest of all the hunters. Probably one of the weaker early games. He does transition nicely, though, into team fights. He is also a little bit more of a ability-based hunter than necessarily an auto-attacker. We're still going to get that Ninja Tabi on him. We basically get Ninja Tabi on any hunter that does not have an attack speed steroid.
An enemy has been slain.
The crit build is something that we don't traditionally go on a Chiron, but we can. We're going to see this game where the build goes. Your builds, of course, should always be a little bit situational, but we are, of course, going to get Fail Not, which is going to give us some crit. But that doesn't necessarily mean because we've built Fail Not that we have to commit to a full crit build, but it does mean that we can transition into one if it looks like it's going to be good. Now, this team is pretty squishy, actually. It looks like they really have one tank that's going to be their Osiris. We've got a good bit of magic damage with a Scylla and a Sobek. So this actually might end up being a decent crit game. We're just going to pay attention to their builds. So after our boots, we're going to go back and grab that Transcendence. Looks like I'm about to get ultied out. I'm going to pop the 1 for the CC immunity on myself. That way I don't have to use my ulti or my beads. So right there, I've got a rocket coming right at my face. I know it's about to hit me, so I throw down my 1, which gives me that quick glimpse of CC immunity. And that way I don't have to waste any of my long cooldowns to avoid getting hit by that. And of course, more importantly, you know, I don't have any risk of dying right there. But my beads are down and my ulti, I could have used it, but like, who wants to use their ulti for CC immunity? You want to use it to get kills. So use that Chiron 1 to your advantage. I see Fenrir over on some wards. We have just cleared the wave. I'm going to use this opportunity to back it up because I'm kind of low on my mana.
Does this make my butt look big?
So trying to minimize any potential farm that I would lose right now. For your matchups on Chiron, he tends to struggle against the more early game hunters, the premier 1v1 hunters. So what I would be careful of is I would be careful of really the big 3 being Danza, Apollo, and Anhur. Those 3 can provide a lot of pressure early, and they're just so good at 1v1ing. So I would be careful about those. If you're going against them, you just need to be extra careful about farming. Maybe play a little bit closer to your tower. Make sure you're getting out those defensive wards, because you're probably not going to be able to 1v1 them. Now, obviously, every game is going to be a little different. You might get a little bit more pressure. He has seen that I've used my 1, so I'm going to dash back into tower to avoid that rocket. He knew my cleanse was down. He knows I don't want to use my ulti, my beads, in order to avoid that. So I'm just going to dash back to my tower. That way I'm stunning my tower and I'm okay. You can see all this sustain that I'm getting from my passive right now. I got a good bit of sustain just built in from every time I'm using those abilities. I'm getting that nice little heal on top of the little bit that leather is giving me. Now I'm going to dash away from this. You don't really want to fight a Danza inside of his 3, especially on a Chiron. We just mentioned that's not a super favorable matchup here in the early game, but we're just going to utilize the Scorpion for some healing while he pushes the wave. Nothing wrong with playing passive in the parts of the game where you're not as strong. For characters that Chiron is quite good against, Chiron likes to go against the characters that tend to be hard to follow because of his ultimate. Because of his ultimate and his 2, he does really good against characters that you would traditionally find hard to kill or hard to get that last bit of damage on, like a Janus. Chiron loves when he's against a Janus because Janus tends to ulti out at 1 HP, right? He ultis out at 1 HP, he gives through a portal, a Susanna who's about to get away all those times. Those types of characters, Chiron does really well because his 2 is locked on heat seeking and his ultimate has such a long range and goes through walls that you can typically finish those kills as they're low HP trying to run away. Even a Hebo can actually be pretty difficult to catch with that carpet. He tries to carpet away, it doesn't matter, you've got all this super long range. Now for your 2, this does proc off of your autos, your 1 or your ultimate. So if you hit your 1, you can then use your 2. If you auto attack something, you can use your 2, or if you ulti something, you can use your 2.
An enemy has been
That's what's going to give you those procs. There's a full wave here, but I don't have any mana or health, and I'm pretty sure the Danza is on his way back. So I'm going to chill out, go get my Transcendence. I can get tier 1 going into a Fail Not, a nice Aegis, and a Sentry Ward to start putting out some more deep wards and maybe get a Sentry out so my jungler can come gank a little bit easier. So now that we've gotten past the 10-minute marker, we're getting into team fight o'clock.
Your right tower.
So I need to start paying attention to possible rotations. I'm going to throw down the defensive sentry out here, and I'm going to try to get an aggressive ward out as well, so that way I know where they are. I'm a little bit behind them. I see Fenrir is coming towards me. I hear the Morgan stealth. I'm going to try to run back over towards my team, make sure they're not getting pulled by Fen or anything, because I can try to cleanse them out of his mouth, but I also need to make sure I'm not missing out on too much farm. So with our Transcendent stacked and our Fail Not, we will have a 30% CDR. CDR is crucial on Chiron because your abilities are actually what's important. Your auto attacks are a little bit second tier compared to those abilities. So we're going to get that nice CDR, and we're also going to start into our penetration. Of course, Fail Not does give that pen. It's also in so many Hunter builds right now. It is just still such a golden tier item right now. There's really no situations where it's a bad item. So if you never know what to build on a Hunter, if you're ever just like, man, I don't know what I should be getting, Fail Not will fill the niche for anything. Power, check. Crit, check. Pen, check. Cooldown, check. It'll always fill in that slot nicely. It's basically like a Spear of Desolation on mages. Like, there's just never a bad time to build it. It's just so good. So right now, I'm gonna rotate over to middle lane. I can see a fight breaking out. There's a Hebo coming in behind my team. We're gonna have an extra person here with me. Unfortunately, we lost our Fen, so we don't exactly have an extra person. I'm gonna try to put down this Morgan who has transformed really quick. Now I'm gonna switch back onto Hebo. I gotta be careful with this chase because I do know that there's about to be a guy coming. I go down, but I did get the kill, so I should res off of this. I made sure to save my ultimate until it would be able to get that kill. Unfortunately, the Osiris is going to be able to put me down, but this should be a good fight for the team. So the most important part about Chiron ulti that we just got to bring up, if you get a kill in Chiron ultimate while you are dead, you will revive. So I shot my shot on Hebo. I knew one more shot was gonna kill him, but I was really low on my HP. So I waited for Danza to actually finish me in my ultimate. Then I shot my second shot, which killed the Hebo, which meant I was gonna get revived. You only get revived if you get that kill after you have died in your ultimate. So you gotta time it correctly. Now we're gonna head right back over to the duo lane. And that's really the biggest part about duo right now for the ADC, is trying to rotate first. You're gonna be playing this back and forth game between, okay, I need to get my farm so I don't fall behind at XP, and also, okay, I want to make sure that I rotate first, because if I rotate first, we're going to have an extra person in that team fight. Extra person in a team fight means we win the game faster, means we get to the gold fury, means we start snowballing, all that good stuff. So that's going to be the hardest part to balance. There's really no, like, the general rule that you can be like, oh, it's this time of the game, I'm going to start running around. Oh, this is happening, I'm going to go. It's not that easy. A lot of the rotations in Season 8 are a little bit more complicated. Just keep your eyes out on the mini-map. Try to be watch where people are positioning themselves. And if you feel as though you have recently cleared all of your XP out, whether that is your wave or all of the jungle camps, that's when you can really look to go for those rotations. So try to get your farm first always. Farm is guaranteed, rotations are not, right? If you rotate and the fight goes great, well, maybe it didn't matter that you missed out on farm, but if you rotate and everything goes horrible, then you're gonna really wish you would have stayed for that farm. So try to give yourself as many guarantees as you can in Season 8 right now. If the game can snowball very quickly. Looking at this Danza has just used a lot of abilities. I'm gonna try to dash in right towards him. He's on that rocket. I'm still trying to keep my eye on him. Looks like I'm about to go down. Maybe try to find the Fenrir. Nope. He was at 1 HP over in the corner, so I tried to get the shot on him for the res. Not going to be able to. We just got a little Hebo action right on top of us, but we still got some good damage out in that fight. So now for our next item, this is really where we need to decide whether we're going to embrace sort of a crit build here or go something just more ability based. So let's take a look at their items. They got a full squishy Mori, a full squishy Hebo, a full squishy Danza, a little bit tanky right now on the Osiris. He just has the Berserker Shield, and a little bit tanky on the Fenrir. But a cursed Ankh here. Chances are Fenrir is not going to get Thorns. No Thorns on this team is a good indicator that crit is going to be a nice way to go. So for our next item, I'm going to get myself a Wind Demon. Wind Demon is going to give us some more % penetration. So we got the 10% from Fail Not. We'll get another 10% from our Wind Demon, bringing us up to a nice 20% on our % pen, which means we can get Dominant if we want the full 40%, or we can even go another crit item if we do not feel like we're going to need any more penetration. I might not need any more than 20% pen this game, so we will once again be keeping an eye on their builds to decide whether we need to or not. Morgan is rotating over. My Fenrir is about to get super ganked. I'm gonna try to throw one out into the jungle. I don't think he saw them on the minimap, so now I need to play it back, and they're gonna get set up around the Gold Fury. You could actually see the Danza running a very similar build, if not the exact same build. Because this is a very common build right now for those more ability-based hunters. It's kind of funny, he is running the exact same build. Well, good on him. He knows he's running the right build. Ooh, Hebo ultimate is down. He could not quite reach me. I know that Fenrir is ulting at me right now. I'm gonna pop that preemptive beat, and now I'm gonna start ulting at the Hebo. Try to get a couple of shots on him. Use my 2 for the heat-seeking missile, and he is gonna go down. So Chiron has a lot of range on him, which means if you can, try to keep a little bit of room between you and your enemy. I know that seems pretty straightforward for a hunter, but Chiron probably more so than other hunters. Even walls are your friend. You can throw your 1 over a wall. You can ulti through walls. Your 2 is, of course, heat seeking. So if you hit your 1 or your ulti over a wall, you're going to be able to hit your 2. All of those abilities, you can try to put a little bit of distance between you and the enemy. Gonna let my team know that Danza is incoming. I do have to be careful right now. I only have half HP, but I don't want to leave my team hanging. So I'm gonna try to position myself kind of off to the side. I know that Danza is running in there. Scylla has dashed in, so I'm gonna try to go finish him really quick. By Scylla, I mean Morgan. And she is gonna go down, but now I need to run away. I'm gonna pop my Aegis here to avoid that brutalized damage while trying to walk back in. My ultimate has come back up. I hit the 1 on 3, so I'm gonna use my 2 first. And now I'm gonna try to follow up onto the Danza. He has a 1 HP. It looks like I hit everything. Gonna throw down my 1 and my 3 onto this Osiris. Try to grab the kill before I die, and we're gonna be able to finish him off there with the Sobek. So I kind of just stuck off to the side in that fight. I knew that that fight was going to continue to break out, and if I wasn't there, we were going to lose the fight because they were going to have an extra person, and then they were going to get a free Gold Fury. So instead, I stick around. We grab a couple of kills. Neither team gets the Gold Fury, which is really the best case scenario that we could have hoped for right there. And now I get to back it up. I'm almost level 20, so after I finish this Wind Demon, I'm not going to buy any more items. I'm just going to grab my Sentry Ward, and I'm saving my money because I want to be able to rank up my Hunter's Cowl as fast as humanly possible. So I'm already starting to save my money. Now, if I'm the enemy team, oops, not the Fire Giant, defend the Gold Fury. I'm starting to get set up around the Gold Fury once again. There is a Hebo over right lane. I know that there's a wave over here that I need to get before I rotate. I'm gonna try to clear one more wave out because I should get 20 from the next wave. Let them know that the enemy is missing. Danza is gonna rotate before me. Okay, so Danza has already rotated. I am too late on this play to help my team. So instead of rotating back over, I'm actually just gonna shove left lane. It looks like they're gonna go for the Gold Fury. So unfortunately, I'm actually gonna have to back, and then I'm gonna call for the Pyromancer, and hopefully we can get over that Pyromancer in time. We got to give up that Gold Fury. They've got an extra person, but if we can grab the Pyro, we make it a little 1-for-1 exchange. It's not quite as bad. Osiris has actually jumped in on this. I think Osiris is ulted in. We might be able to grab ourselves a quick kill here. A little Pyromancer, a little kill, and now we need to back up and be careful because they're all going to be rotating over, and we need to make sure we have bodies back here for the Fire Giant.
Does this make my butt big?
So you're not always going to be able to contest the objective that is going on. If you can't contest the objective, make sure you're doing something somewhere else. Preferably as far away to the other side of the map as you can, so that it takes longer for the enemy team to rotate on you after they figure out what you're doing. Got the enhanced purple buff, which gives you that 25% purple, 25% attack speed instead of 10% attack speed. Yeah, 25% purple instead of 10% purple. Of course, yes. And now it is time for me to start rotating over towards the Fire Giant. Danza has a lot more rotation potential than I do with his rocket, so I need to be doing my best to preemptively rotate before he is, because if I start rotating after him, I'm never, ever gonna make it there in time. Now, we do have some decent ward coverage out. Morgan potentially in stealth over here. I saw her little decoy. There he is. Hit him with the 1 and the 2. So I actually got a lot of good poke right there. I'm going to throw down a deep ward over so I can see where they are. We should fight this right now. Danza is not here. We need to be moving in immediately because they are missing a huge part of their team. Hebo goes for the blink ulti, so I use the dash to get away. I see the Morgan in front of me, so I'm just going to start slapping him before he can get his ultimate off. Using the 1 on top of myself, we're going to be able to kill the Osiris, and we're going to get a massive win off of this. Somebody should go attack left lane because they are going to get a Phoenix off of this. but we're going to get the fire giant, and we should be able to get a whole lot more. So the second we saw that Danza still over in left lane, I immediately start running at the enemy team so we can get that fight going. And we get the 4 kills because we literally had an extra player, but we do lose that Phoenix over in left lane, so we're going to have to cover that. Now what we need to do is we need to quickly attack this right lane before we back. We've still got death timers at about 10 seconds. So what we want to do is grab this tier 2 because we know that we are going to have to shove the left lane, right? Because they just took it. So we want to get right all the towers down. And now we back it up and we're going to go shove left lane. We got to be pushing up in those lanes that have the fire creeps. Plus we want to be shoving up in left lane anyway. So honestly, it's kind of a win-win. So right now I could go a little bit more crit. They've got 2 shells. They did end up with the thorns on the Fenrir. I don't necessarily think I need more crit this game. So instead, now that we're getting into the tower pushing stage, I'm going to go into this last item, Dominance, in order to give me that 40% pen, which is going to be really nice. Both against these tanks that are kind of waddling at my face, and also to make sure that I don't necessarily, like, if I go with something like a Deathbringer here, and then if I Deathbringer crit thorns myself, like, that's a little awkward. So I'd rather just have more penetration. Plus we're moving into the stage of the game where we're attacking a lot of towers, and extra pen is of course always good for against the objectives.
Enemy spotted.
So now in these team fights, my goal is to sit back and just do whatever our objective is. If we're trying to attack a tower, then my focus is the tower. Everybody else might be zoning, right? Mages might be looking for big blow up, single target kills. We might have solo laners zoning out, but as a hunter, it's my job to just be looking for whatever the actual objective is at hand. So if Osiris or Fenrir runs into my face, that's okay, I can fight them, but otherwise I should be prioritizing the Phoenix, because it's my job. I'm the guy that has to actually kill them. I hear Morgan off to that right hand side, so I'm going to keep my body over here farther to the left if at all possible, trying to keep an eye on my team. And it looks like we might get a quick kill out of the Fenrir, so I'm going to go for the ulti, and it's not going to be able to reach him. He gets the jump and the brutalize off, but we do get a good zone. So I've got this Osiris trying to zone me out from the Phoenix, but every opportunity that I get, I'm just gonna try to run into that Phoenix. Woo! I had to do a quick bead Aegis right there for the Hebo, and we are gonna be able to grab that kill as well. Keeping an eye around for my team just in case the Fenrir goes for something. I'm gonna throw down the 1 on my Scylla. Unfortunately, she beadses. To be fair, he had no way to know. I see a Morgan in stealth. Oh, and he was coming for me, but luckily, Fenrir gonna land a massive stun. I'm gonna try to heal up off of these creeps, and we should be able to kill the Titan right here and end the game. Phew. Grab one last little kill right here, and we're gonna finish the Titan. Of course, our last item this game would have been that Dominance to give us that 40% potential pen with our Fail Not, Wind Demon, and Dominance. We had all of our sustain in this build came from our Hunter's Cowl, as well as our passive that we have on Chiron, giving us that constant heal throughout the game. If you did want more sustain, you could go something like an Aussie in this build. If you weren't gonna go crit, you could probably get away with doing like an Aussie, Kins, Exy, or Dominance type situation there. But preferably right now, at all times on Hunter currently, if you can go crit, you want to go crit. It's just the better build right now. I could have gotten a Rage if I wanted to as well for that 4th item. Instead of a Wind Demon, I could have gotten a Rage. If I did go the Rage there, then I would have had to go Wind Demon as my next item. For the addition to that, Rage is a very good item right now, so you should always keep it in mind. And that, guys, is the end of our Chiron guide.